The transmission came through at 3:47 UTC. Every global radar station picked it up. From deep space telescopes in Australia to silent listening posts in Alaska, a massive ship had appeared just beyond Mars, slow, steady, and deliberate. It wasn't trying to hide it, hovered there, quiet, but watching. People across Earth held their breath as the signal decoded. It wasn't noise, it wasn't a threat, it was a greeting. "We come in peace," the alien voice said, soft, clear, almost too perfect. Inside the United Nations Command Center, deep beneath Geneva, military officials, scientists, and leaders from every nation stared at the screen. The ship was unlike anything humanity had seen, elegant, curved like flowing metal, glowing softly blue. No weapons were visible, no shields detected, just that one message. "They're trying to contact us," said Dr. Amelia Tran, a xenolinguist. Her voice was shaky. "It's real. The structure of their language is complex, but peaceful." General Marcus Gray didn't smile. "Peaceful ships don't park near Mars without notice." President Elena Ward crossed her arms. "Do we respond?" The room stayed silent. Then came another message, requesting first contact. "We mean no harm. Captain Reyes of the USS Retribution, Earth's most advanced space warship, received his orders within minutes. Make contact, but do not lower your guard." Retribution was a monster taller than buildings, heavier than cities, with weapons designed not just for defense, but total annihilation. Its armor could take hits from nuclear-class weapons. I could predict enemy moves before they even made them. And yet, as it approached the alien vessel, there was an odd feeling inside every crew member. Not fear, not curiosity, something else. "It's too perfect," whispered Ensign Vega at the communication deck. "Why send a message before even scanning us? Why stay so quiet?" Reyes nodded. "Because they want us to look first. They want us off balance." Still, the captain gave the standard response. "This is Captain Reyes of the human vessel Retribution. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." No reply. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Then 3. "Captain, their systems are online," said Lieutenant Harris. "Energy readings spiking. No weapons fired yet, but something's charging." Reyes stiffened, shields up, standby weapons. Then the screen blinked again. A third. "Message, your species is interesting, strong, curious, like others we met." Most bowed quickly. "Will you?" The room fell into silence. "That's not a greeting," Reyes said coldly. "That's a warning." Suddenly the alien ship pulsed. Not an attack, a scan, deep and aggressive. Every file, every frequency, even heartbeat readings of Retribution's crew were touched by it. "Cut communications," Reyes barked. "They're inside our systems." But it was too late. For a brief second, the alien ship saw everything. Medical files, tactical logs, blueprints. They weren't talking anymore. They were preparing. "They scanned our weapons," Harris said. "All of them, arm pulse cannons. Target their core." The ship responded before Reyes gave the order. Retribution's onboard AI, Talos, activated threat protocols. Enemy vessels scanned with invasive parameters. Designating hostile, defensive mode initiated. The alien ship pulsed again. But this time, it wasn't a scan. A beam of light shot toward Retribution's left wing. Impact in 10 seconds, Harris called out, "Evasive maneuvers, fire countermeasures." The alien beam missed just barely. A second beam followed, then a third. "They're trying to disable, not destroy," Reyes said. "They want us alive." "Why?" Vega asked, fear in her voice. Reyes didn't answer. Instead, he gave the command Earth had prayed never to hear. "Fire." Retribution's pulse cannons roared. 2 shots hit the alien vessel. The first burned through outer plating. The second pierced the ship's lower hull. A moment of silence, then the alien ship screamed. Not with sound, but through energy. A blast wave pulsed from its core, knocking Retribution back. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. "They're signaling every satellite," Harris said. "A transmission is spreading. To deep space." "They called for help," Reyes muttered. "No," Captain Talos corrected. "They called for witnesses." Reyes understood. This was never about peace. It was about theater. They wanted the galaxy to see humanity respond to kindness with violence. They wanted to paint Earth as the monster. And they had baited Retribution into firing first. But they hadn't expected one thing: Retribution didn't fire out of fear. It fired to survive. Status on alien vessel. Damage to their lower decks, Harris said. They're leaking energy, retreating. Follow them, sir. They wanted to test us. Now we show them what happens when someone tests Earth. The alien ship moved fast, but not fast enough. Retribution kept its distance, tracking every signal, every move. They're heading to a jump gate, Vega said. Coordinates unknown. Reyes stared at the screen. Let them go, he finally said. The room fell quiet again, sir. We've already sent the message. Harris raised an eyebrow. What message? That humanity doesn't bow. The alien ship vanished into its jump gate. Retribution turned back, silent in the dark. On Earth, the world watched the footage. In awe and fear, first contact had come, but it wasn't peaceful. And somewhere, across distant stars, alien eyes watched Earth with something new in their hearts. Regret they had tried to greet humanity, but now they would never forget Earth's reply. The skies above the Galactic Academy turned a strange shade of green. Storm clouds swirled unnaturally, forming spirals that stretched across the horizon. Cadets and officers stood frozen on the training fields, staring upward. It wasn't a weather system, it was a ship, and it wasn't human. Commander Loren stood beside Eli Ward in the underground command center. The lights flickered. Systems hummed as warnings flashed red across the screens. It's them, Loren said quietly. They felt the signal. Something in you woke them up. Eli didn't speak. He couldn't. Inside him, something was changing. He could feel it, like fire running through his blood. Not pain, but power. Something ancient, like a locked door slowly opening in the back of his mind. What do they want? Eli finally asked. Loren's eyes were grim. Why? They fear what you might become. The doors behind them opened with a hiss. 4 guards entered, armored and armed, with high-grade plasma rifles. You're moving him? Asked a scientist following the guards. Yes, Loren said. He's not safe here anymore. Eli looked up at the monitors again. The ship now hovered above the Academy's outer gate. No sound, no transmission, just presence. Not here to talk, Eli whispered. The ship didn't look like any known design. It was shaped like a crescent, black as space, with thousands of tiny lights blinking across its surface. But it felt wrong, like it wasn't made, but grown. They're not from this galaxy, Loren muttered. We hoped they were extinct. Eli turned. Who are they? Loren took a long breath. The Karzal apex predators of the deep void. Once, they ruled sectors through fear alone. But when the Omega Lords rose, they ran. Every time, Eli looked at his own hands again. Why? Are they here now? To make sure you don't become what you were born to be, the guards led Eli down a long corridor toward the escape hangar. His footsteps echoed on the metal floor. One of the guards, a tall insectoid, turned to look at him, not with hate, but with fear. I saw it, the guard said softly. In the test cage, that Varnock beast would rather die than face you. Eli didn't answer. Outside, the alien ship sent down a beam of light, silent, steady, and focused. It cut through 3 levels of security before anyone could react. Sirens wailed. Troops scattered. We're under attack, someone shouted. Over the intercom, the lights above flickered again. Then, everything went dark. Keep moving, one of the guards barked. But it was too late. From the darkness, shadows moved fast, silent. Bodies in smooth black armor dropped from the ceiling. Landing without a sound, their faces were covered. No eyes, no mouths, just blank, emotionless helmets. One of them reached for Eli, and that's when it happened. The power inside, Eli exploded. Not loud, not fiery, but cold, heavy, final. Everyone froze then. The attacker's eyes glowed bright silver. The walls trembled. The air became heavy, like the gravity had doubled. One of the attackers stepped back. Just one step, but that was enough. The others followed. They backed away without a word. Without a fight, the same way the predator in the cage had. Eli stared at them, not blinking. His voice was quiet, steady, but deeper, like 2 voices speaking. At once, you should not have come here. The black-armored figures turned and vanished into the dark. Gone in seconds. No sound, no trace. Loren ran into the hallway, his weapon raised. What happened? Eli turned to him. The glow in his eyes faded. His voice returned to normal. They ran. Lauren stared at him. You didn't move. I didn't need to. In the control room, emergency lights flickered on. Sensors showed the alien ship turning slowly in the sky. It backed away. No attack, no landing, just retreat. They came for war, Lauren said slowly, and left without firing a shot. Because of me, Eli said, because of what's inside you. That night, Eli sat alone again, but not in a cell. He had a room now, guarded but comfortable. Monitors watched him, but not in fear anymore. In awe, he looked at the stars outside. I don't want to be this, he said quietly. The voice answered in his mind again. Calm, familiar. You don't have a choice. You were made for this. Long ago, your kind ruled not with weapons, but with presence. Fear was your armor. Power was your name. Eli shook his head. I didn't ask for this, but now that it's awake, the voice said, others will come. Eli stood. The lights around him flickered outside, far beyond the academy, in deep space. Other eyes had seen what happened. In a dark chamber of another world, an ancient being stirred. Its body was wrapped in living metal. Its heart beat once. Every 10 minutes, it had not moved in 1,000 years. But now it opened its eyes. He lives, it said, and across the galaxy whispers spread again. The Omega has returned. The stars would soon remember fear. The stars around the Retribution slowly shifted as the warship held position in low orbit above Mars. Earth's victory in first contact was spreading across every news channel, military feed, and deep space beacon. The alien ship had retreated. It should have been a moment of peace. But Captain Reyes didn't celebrate. He stood on the bridge, arms behind his back, eyes locked on the black screen ahead. They didn't expect resistance, he said softly. Lieutenant Harris glanced at him. Do you think they'll come back? They didn't just come here to talk, Reyes replied. They were watching how we respond. We surprised them. That's dangerous. Behind them, Talos, the ship's artificial intelligence, spoke calmly. New data recovered. Partial signal. From enemy vessel intercepted before jump, message fragment decoded. Reyes turned. Play it. The screen lit up with alien glyphs, shifting into a rough translation. Humans responded faster than expected. Phase 1 failed. Contact Overseer for Phase 2. Silence fell on the bridge. Phase 2, Ensign Vega said. What does that mean? It means we've only seen the beginning, Reyes muttered. He stepped forward and tapped the screen. Talos run pattern analysis on enemy signal, find out where they jumped to. Working estimate, 12 hours. Reyes looked at the crew. In 12 hours, I want to know who they are, where they went, and why they came to us first. As Talos worked, the crew drifted into quiet tasks, but no one relaxed, because somewhere beyond the stars, something was watching. 12 hours later, the results came in. Talos projected the data on the center holoscreen. Star charts glowed, lines tracing deep space corridors, jump routes, and energy patterns. They didn't go home, Talos said. They went to a neutral zone. No known inhabited planets. However, we found something. The screen zoomed in. There, floating in the emptiness, was a massive structure, cold, silent, but clearly built. A space station the size of a small moon, ancient, worn. What is that? Vega asked. A meeting point, Reyes said. A neutral ground used by multiple alien species. Black market, intelligence trade. A place to hide, plan, or prepare. Harris nodded slowly. And that's where they're going. No, Talos said. That's where they already are. Reyes didn't wait. Prepare the Retribution. Full stealth mode. We're following them in. The journey took 6 hours through deep warp lanes. Retribution ran silent, no lights, no signals, no trace. When they arrived, the alien station floated before them like a ghost. Talos displayed over a dozen vessels docked nearby, some unfamiliar. Others matched records from fringe colonies. But one signal stood out. That's them, Harris said. Same ship, still damaged. Broadcasts, Reyes asked, encrypted. But there's heavy traffic. Someone's gathering forces. Reyes narrowed his eyes. They're not hiding. They're building. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Vega whispered, Why go through all this trouble? Why not just attack Earth? Reyes answered without turning. Because they don't want to destroy us. They want to break us. He paced slowly. It's not about war. It's about fear, control. They arrive in peace, wait for the world to lower its guard, then strike when people are too divided to fight back. He turned to his officers. But we didn't break. We fought, and now they're planning something bigger, Harris said. A second wave. Reyes nodded. We need to send a message before they move. But how? Vega asked. If we attack that station, we don't attack, Reyes said. We exposed. Within an hour, Talos had a plan. Retribution hacked into the alien ship's recent communications. Most were scrambled, but one recording stood out. It was a video transmission. The alien leader, tall, thin eyes like black glass, spoke clearly in its language. Talos translated, "This is how you conquer. Offer peace, let them hope. Then take everything." Reyes smiled. Cold and sharp. Broadcast. That, unedited, across every major system that listens. Even Earth? Harris asked. Especially Earth. Within seconds, the message spread. First through military channels, then public ones, then the civilian net. By the time the aliens noticed, it was too late. The truth was out. These beings were not peaceful explorers. They were predators wearing friendly faces, and Earth had survived their trick. The alien station reacted fast. Ships powered up. Shields rose. But they didn't attack. Instead, a new message came through. It wasn't a threat. It was an offer. Let us speak again. You misunderstood us. We wish to negotiate. Reyes listened quietly, then replied, No negotiations. Earth speaks through fire, not lies. And with one command, Retribution launched a stealth drone. Armed with surveillance gear and a high-frequency DISRUPTOR, it latched onto the alien ship's core reactor. Seconds later, images of their planning room streamed into Retribution. Multiple species, multiple ships, maps of Earth systems, target locations, weak points. They weren't planning peace. They were preparing an invasion. Harris stared at the images. How many ships? At least 30, Talos said, and growing. Reyes took a deep breath. They wanted to know what kind of species. He looked up. Let's show them. The Retribution opened fire. It didn't aim to destroy the station, not yet. Instead, it targeted the enemy vessel that had made first contact, the one that spoke of peace and meant war. 2 precision blasts hit the core. The ship cracked, systems failing. Alien ships turned toward Retribution, but held their fire. They were afraid. One by one, lights went dark. Some ships powered down. Others slowly drifted away. The truth had broken their alliance. Talos spoke softly. Broadcasts from Earth indicate global unity rising. Militaries worldwide are preparing. Civilians are volunteering. Reyes smiled. Good. Then he gave the final order. Send one last message. Talos blinked, content. Reyes stared at the screen and said simply, Earth does not kneel. The message echoed through space. The enemy now knew, and they would remember. The space station was quiet now. After Retribution's strike, most alien vessels scattered. Some retreated into deep space. Others powered down and drifted, unsure. The message was clear. Earth would not surrender, and it would not forget Captain. Reyes sat alone in the command chair, his eyes fixed on the large viewing screen. The alien ship, the one that first spoke of peace, was gone. Enemy forces fragmented, no current retaliation. However, long-range scans detect increased activity in outer sectors, so they're still coming. Yes, Captain, but Earth now has time. He stood and walked to the center console. The quiet on the station felt wrong. Like silence before a storm, they won't stop just because we exposed them, he said. They'll change strategy. Sir knew. Transmission from Earth. Priority 1. Play it. The screen lit up with the face of President Alina Ward. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Captain Reyes. This is a direct order from Unified Command. The Council believes the alien threat is not isolated. We've discovered similar patterns in transmissions from 3 other systems. Species made contact, then vanished. We now believe this group has done this across the galaxy. Reyes frowned. So we're not the first. No, President Ward said, but we may be the first to survive first contact without surrendering. She leaned forward. We're authorizing you to take Retribution deeper. Follow the trail, find their base, find their leaders, and if possible, break their chain of command. Reyes nodded. Understood. The screen went dark. Harris looked unsure. You think they want a full war? They already started it, Reyes replied. They just didn't expect us to fight back. An hour later, Talos locked onto a new signal. Captain, we've decrypted a hidden relay from the destroyed alien ship. Coordinates lead to an unregistered planet in Sector 9 Theta. What's there? Unknown. No human vessel has charted the region. But based on energy patterns, it's not natural. Reyes looked at the star map, set course, each with similar phrases: present peace, gain access, subdue resistance, crush hope, then offer control. A captured alien, not one of the invaders, whispered, through static, they are not gods. They can be killed. I've seen it. Vega leaned closer. The voice was old, broken, but honest. TALO has filtered the audio. They take one planet at a time. They erase leaders. They enslave minds. But they fear those who do not break. They fear Earth's Vegas. Skin went cold. They didn't just attack planets. They erased entire civilizations. 16 hours later, Retribution arrived in orbit around the unknown planet. It was dark and frozen, no sunlight, no signs of life. But deep beneath, the crust halos picked up heat and movement. They built a base underground, Harris said. Hidden from scans, it's massive. Reyes studied the map. They've been here a long time. Should we strike? No, not yet. He turned to Vega. Prep a recon drone. I want eyes inside before we wake the whole nest. The drone. Launched silently, it pierced the surface with a drill spike, burrowing into the frozen ground. Within minutes, it reached a tunnel. Inside were structures, towers, bridges, ships, and beings. Thousands. End at the center was a command hub. Glowing symbols lined the walls, and at its heart stood something strange. Not a ship, not a weapon. Thrown on it sat a tall, robed alien, eyes closed, hands folded, as if in meditation. TALOS identified it quickly. Species unknown. But records show this figure is present in multiple enemy transmissions. Possible leader, designation, overseer. Reyes narrowed his eyes. So that's the one giving orders. Suddenly, the drone shook. The figure on the throne opened its eyes and looked directly at the camera. Drone detected, Talos said. The screen went black. For a second, no one moved. Then a signal came in. It wasn't from Earth. It was from the surface. A voice echoed through the bridge. Deep, calm, and cold. You are different, stronger than expected. This makes you valuable. Reyes stood tall. We're not interested in joining your empire. The voice replied, almost amused. Not to join, to lead. Your world has fire. And now you offer a seat at your table. Everything is a test. And you've passed. Reyes laughed once, bitterly. Then here's our answer. He nodded at Harris. Charge rail cannons, target their surface grid, sir. They want to test us. Talos, locked onto coordinates. Targets acquired. Fire. A massive blast shot from Retribution's lower decks. It burned through ice, stone, and steel. The surface exploded. Fire erupted from the tunnels. 1, 2, then 3. Explosions followed. The underground city began to collapse. Vega whispered, they didn't think we'd come here. Reyes watched the fire spread. They thought Earth would bow like the others. Another voice came through the speakers, frantic, not calm. You destroy what you don't understand. Reyes stared forward. No, we destroy what threatens us. Talos. Confirmed. Energy grid destroyed. Base integrity failing. Enemy transmissions disrupted. Escape pods launching. He stepped closer to the screen. Tell them Earth doesn't kneel. Outside, the planet cracked. The war was just beginning. But this time, humanity fired first. The frozen planet burned. Fire spread across the surface like veins of light under cracked ice. Black smoke rose into space as the alien stronghold collapsed beneath it. Deep below, the last of their power grid exploded in white-hot flashes. But Retribution wasn't celebrating. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge, arms folded, eyes cold. Lieutenant Harris looked over the latest scan. Sir, the Overseer's life signal disappeared. Either he died in the blast, or he escaped in a pod. He escaped, Reyes said flatly. They always do. Talos confirmed a single pod launched just seconds before the explosion. It was faster than anything they'd seen before, slipping through their tracking grid like a ghost. Reyes clenched his jaw. They planned for failure. Why offer an alliance if they were going to run? Ensign Vega asked. Reyes looked toward the black void outside the viewport. Because this isn't about us joining them, then what is it? It's about testing our limits. They're measuring our will, our fire, our rage. He stepped closer to the center console. They want to see how far we'll go. Back. On Earth, people watched the footage of the alien stronghold being destroyed. It was the first time humanity had ever taken a war beyond the solar system. The first time they had made the galaxy bleed, but most cheered. But others wondered, what comes next? Inside a secure conference room beneath the Pentagon, President Ward met with military leaders and scientists. They retreated again, one general said. But we've seen this before. They'll regroup, attack from a different angle. Dr. Amelia Trannow, an advisor on alien psychology, nodded. They don't just want to win battles. They want to break identity, erase culture, make people forget who they are. The room went quiet. President Ward looked to the screen behind, the man image of retribution floating above the dying world. Captain Reyes did what he had to do. But we need more than firepower. She turned toward the tech advisors. I want Project Skyfall accelerated. Everyone went still. Ma'am, the head scientist said, that's not ready. The AI integration, it doesn't matter. She interrupted. We need it. The galaxy has to see what happens when you try to conquer Earth. Back aboard Retribution, Talos intercepted a faint signal and emergency broadcast coming from deep space. New message detected. Origin unknown. Signal strength weak, encrypted in a hybrid dialect. Vega tapped the console. Can you clean it? Talos worked silently, decoding bit by bit. Then a voice broke through. This is not a trap. Please, if you hear this, help us. Reyes looked up. Source: Outer Rim System. Coordinates match a star cluster last visited by enemy fleets 2 cycles ago. Set a course. But Captain Harris said, what if it's bait? Reyes didn't blink. Then, we spring the trap. The journey took almost 2 days as Retribution approached the rim system. The crew saw the truth. A small planet hung in the center of the systems, scorched, broken, but alive. Below, cities still stood, barely. Smoke rose from distant fires. Energy signals flickered like dying candles and orbiting it. Were ships, not enemy vessels, refugee crafts, civilian transports, broken holes patched with scrap, no weapons, just survivors. This world was hit hard, Vega whispered. But someone's still fighting. Reyes stared at the planet. Let's meet them. They descended through the clouds slowly, weapons cold, shields raised just in case. On the surface, a group of humanoids waited. Their bodies were thin, skin pale blue, eyes large and glowing faintly. They looked exhausted, starving, but their leader stepped forward with pride. You are the humans, the alien asked. We are, Reyes replied. And you, the leader nodded. We were once called the Tran, now we are just what's left. He led them through the ruins of a once great city, tall towers, now crumbling. Schools turned to shelters, statues broken and burned. They came to us with peace, the Tran leader said. Told us they wanted trade, knowledge, unity. We believed them. Reyes looked around. What happened? They waited, the Tran said. They studied our defenses. Then they struck, quietly. They poisoned leaders, turned friends against each other. Within months, our world was dying. Vega asked softly, why send a message now? The Tran looked at her with tears in his glowing eyes. Because we heard what you did to them. He looked at Reyes. You fought back? In a hidden bunker beneath the ruins, Reyes saw what remained of the Tran resistance. Engineers building pulse rifles from scrap. Old warriors training children. A small group of alien scientists watching holograms of attack on the Overseer's base. Over and over, you gave us hope, the Tran leader said. No one ever fought them like you did. They can be killed, Reyes said, but not by waiting. He stood in the center of the command chamber. We came here to help, but we also came to send a message. Vega asked, what kind of message? Reyes looked around the room, at the broken survivors, at their dying world, that Earth isn't alone, and neither are they. He turned to the Tran. "Can your people still fight?" The alien smiled slowly. "With you? Yes." Back on Retribution, Talos connected with Earth Command. Within hours, multiple nations began sending aid ships, supplies, medical tech, rebuilding drones. The Tran planet would not fall quietly, but deep in space. Another signal echoed. Talos decoded it quickly. Primary base destroyed. Human threat growing, requesting full fleet engagement. Launch protocol, Omega. Reyes stepped onto the bridge and saw the warning flash red across the screen. Harris whispered, "What's protocol, Omega?" Talos answered, "Full galactic strike. Force, over 100 ships, meant for planetary suppression." "They're coming for Earth," Vega said. Reyes clenched his fists. "No, they're coming for war." He stared at the stars. "Let them come." The stars around Earth had never looked more dangerous. Dozens of alien signals blinked on global scanners, faint at first, then growing stronger, faster. The Overseer's final order had spread like wildfire. Protocol Omega had begun. A full invasion fleet, armed to break a world and erase its will. But Earth was ready. For the first time in history, every nation stood united. Borders disappeared. Flags flew side by side. Military forces trained together. Scientists worked as one. Civilians built defense bunkers, helped with supply lines. Like a beast in silence, its armor glowing with new upgrades, its weapons hot, and its crew focused. Inside the warship, Captain Reyes stared at the fleet formation projected in front of him. Dozens of alien ships, many larger than his own, were moving in fast formation. Some were carriers, some were long-range cannons, all of them meant for destruction. Talos, the ship's AI, spoke softly. Enemy fleet arrival estimated in 6 hours. "Wait," Reyes said. "Lieutenant?" Harris frowned. "Wait, sir, shouldn't we strike first? They're expecting us to panic." "Let them see calm. Let them think we're afraid," Vega whispered. "We're not, right?" Reyes turned to her with a small smile. "No, we're ready." Grids lit up like stars. Earth's defense platforms, newly armed railguns, missile silos, and energy shields stood online. Dr. Amelia Tran entered. One of the alien ships is transmitting a repeating signal. President Ward looked at her. "A message? No, a memory." She tapped the screen. An image appeared, Retribution's first strike on the Overseer's throne world. The blast, the fire, the destruction. Played over and over. "They're broadcasting it to their own fleet," Dr. Tran said. "Not as warning, as revenge fuel." The president narrowed her eyes. "They want to burn Earth for what we did." Dr. Tran looked nervous. "Can we win?" President Ward replied with no hesitation. "We already did." Back in space, Retribution waited near Earth's outer orbit. The crew stood in full gear. Every station was ready, every missile primed, but they were not alone. In a bright flash of light, international carriers, and something new, a ship emerged that no one had seen before. Sleek, black, with a glowing white streak across its body like a scar. Reyes blinked. "What is that?" Talos answered. "Project Skyfall, Earth's first true stealth battleship. Powered by a hybrid AI, authorized for combat." The new ship sent a single message. "Retribution, we stand with you." Reyes smiled. "Then let's finish this." They formed a massive spearhead, formation moving like a knife through space. They launched energy cannons at Earth's outer defense grid. Plasma beams cut across the black sky. "Shields holding," Harris shouted. But not for long. Reyes gave his first order. "Open fire." Retribution unleashed its full power. Railguns fired in rapid bursts. Missile swarms broke across enemy armor. Lasnet beams sliced into enemy hulls with blinding precision. But the alien fleet was massive. Talos displayed the numbers: 97 ships, 15 carriers, multiple elite destroyers. "Target main flagship," Reyes said. "That's where the Overseer is hiding." "But which one is the flagship?" Vega asked. "TALOS," responded instantly. "Ship 04, largest in center formation. 95% confidence." Reyes narrowed his eyes. Seconds later, it reappeared near the alien flagship then. It fired, a pulse, beam white-hot and silent cut straight. Through the enemy ship's lower decks, the flagship cracked in half. Screams came through open alien channels. Confusion, panic, orders, breaking apart. Inside the wreck, a single escape pod launched. Reyes grinned. Guess who's running again? Retribution pushed forward. For every human ship that was hit, 2 alien crafts fell. Earth's orbital guns roared from below. Missiles flew upward from silos hidden in mountains, deserts, and even beneath oceans. The sky was war, and Earth was winning, but then the Overseer spoke. A signal came through, louder than ever. No encryption. Just one message. If we fall, we will take your world with us. Below, Earth's atmosphere trembled as 2 alien carriers dove into a direct path toward the planet's massive nuclear cores glowing inside. They're going to crash them into Earth, Harris shouted. A suicide run. Not if we stop them first, Reyes said. Talos intercept paths. Prepare quantum mines. Arming now. Retribution turned sharply. The ship spun into a high-speed drift, lining up directly between the alien carriers, and Earth Talos fired .6 quantum mines, released and detonated at once. A wall of energy exploded in the path of the 2 alien carriers. One vanished in flame. The second broke apart in pieces and drifted into the void. The danger was gone, but the war wasn't over. The Overseer's escape pod darted through the battlefield. Reyes whispered, "Lock missiles, high-speed pursuit mode. Locked, fire." A single missile followed the pod fast, silent, deadly dot inside the pod. Collapsing, remaining ships retreating, victory confirmed. The crew didn't cheer right away. They stared at the screen. Dozens of enemy ships, turning away, gone. Finally, Vega whispered, "Did we just win?" Reyes nodded. "We did," but his eyes stayed cold. "Now we show the galaxy why Earth is not prey." 3 days later, every major news channel in the galaxy played one message, a feed of Earth's ships, of retribution, of the burning alien fleet. And then Reyes appeared on screen. He said just one thing. "You came to greet us with lies, weapons, and chains. And now you know what happens when you try to conquer our world." Across the stars, alien worlds listened. Some feared, some cheered, and some began to rise. The chain of domination was broken. One world had fought back, and now the galaxy would remember that humans were not just survivors. They were warriors.